I am doing quite well. Thank you for asking. I understand you have some strong opinions on this Colby Maher story.
Yes, I do. First of all, I just want to say that stuff like this is getting out of hand in today's society with the youth. You hear one story after another of kids just being innocently beaten down and ending up in the hospital and having severe injuries to themselves, like whether it's brain damage or something to that effect. But stuff like this has to stop, and it's only a matter of time till it gets worse and worse, and it's every man for himself. It's just getting ridiculous with our youth today.
Well, I think we can all agree.
Um,
I'm sorry. I'm just going to say, Azeem, I think we can all agree that these assaults are happening too often, and there's no excuse for these gang assaults, 4-on-1, 3-on-1. Colby Mayer was assaulted pretty badly. But there is some question, sir, that perhaps the wheels of justice did not turn perfectly correctly in this instance, and there's real concern that the wrong kid is in jail right now.
yeah, that's the main thing when I was reading the story that I heard about being like the blame being placed on the wrong guy. Now I know people like to make movies and stuff like this and TV shows based on laying blame on the wrong guy. But in real life here, I've read the story and I've actually dug deep into a few of my connections here, even to read into the actual case file on this. And honestly, Fred, I don't think they've got the wrong guy at all.
You have
And
case.
Judge,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
Fred.
I was going to say you have case files on this.
Yeah, to give you a little background on myself here, as you know, I used to be in law enforcement here, and listening to this guy's girlfriend last week, I believe it was,
Right.
saying that she has information that that she withholding to have her have her boyfriend's name get cleared, and saying that the judge erred in his ways. If she's got information and she's too afraid to say it, then why even bring it up in the first place at all? I mean, this is a kid's life you're messing with here. And if you know something that can clear this guy's name here, by all means, come forward with it. If not, then shut the hell up. I mean, the police, they do their job. Like, I know there's a lot of crooked cops up there, but when it comes up to cases of this magnitude here, I don't think they've done the wrong job at all. I mean, they must have had some sort of hardcore evidence to convict to name this guy as the main aggressor in this case.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I got a chance to look at the 86-page reasons for judgment that the judge wrote himself, and it kind of lays out point by point why he made the decision he did to convict this kid of the assault and sentence him to a 7-month term. And the evidence that I saw, based on his reasons for judgment, there was only a couple pieces of evidence. There were some digital cameras that were taken from the scene of the crime. The film was developed
Right.
and showed different photos of the suspect. And there were some pool cues that were found, but they were never dusted for fingerprints, and there was no conclusive evidence that led from the kid back to the actual assault. The main reason the judge made his ruling, Azeem, was that an eyewitness to the crime, an employee of the nearby gas station, said that she saw him, but now there's conflicting statements from her that she gave to police at the beginning of the trial and then during the trial didn't really seem to match up all that much. And it really comes down to, from my estimation, the judge seemed to think that this witness had more credibility than the kid himself. And on that basis, he made that judgment, which, if that is exactly what happened, and I wasn't there, so I don't want to go and say that's for sure what happened, but if that's his reasoning, it doesn't seem to me that meets the burden of proof there and doesn't meet finding him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
True. But this kid that was at the party, I believe he was upstairs in the house, and the assault happened either in the doorway or outside there.
Outside is
Now,
my
Fred,
understanding.
I've been to outside the house, right?
Yeah.
Now, Fred, I've been to a lot of parties in my time. I still party it up every now and then. If there's a fight going on, whether it's 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 4-on-1, 10-on-1, I don't care. If I'm not involved in there, I'm getting my ass out of there as fast as I possibly can, because there's going to be cops coming down there, ambulances, and they're going to start, busting people left, right, and center. Why in the world would you stay behind? And while this fight's going on here, like, that's just ridiculous. I mean, this kid should have enough common sense to get up and go. And another thing that really got to me was this guy at all, blah, blah, blah. And his mom was saying that too. But mom's not always there after dark, is she? You don't know what your kids are getting themselves into at all. Once alcohol is being a factor in this, a lot of kids these days think they're Superman or whatever when they're got 5 or 6 beers into them or whatever, and they think they're Superman, they can take on the entire world. And, unfortunately, that's not the case whatsoever. So this kid really used poor judgment about even going to this party and even staying there while this fight was being taken place.
Well, to your first point, Azeem, the party, actually, this kid was one of the hosts of the party, so he was kind of living there and being around there, so it would be difficult for him to leave if he was actually staying there. I mean, one can make the argument that he had to stay, being that it was his house.
Well, yeah, but even if this was my party and a fight broke out, hey, get on that phone and call the cops, or you should have some sort of hired security there to make sure this stuff doesn't happen, to deter this kind of stuff away. That's what we have in society. He should have used that means to his advantage, but he didn't. He chose not to. I'm not saying that he got what I'm not saying he's like, he's a complete idiot here or not, but the cops are not stupid either, right? And I honestly think that if the cops say this is their main guy, and this is what this is the evidence we have against them, and we're going to go forward with this, then I believe that they've done their job, and they're getting the aggressor out of there. And for the rest of these guys that were involved in that, they're not coming forward. If I hear that there's another guy that said that he was part of that as well to try turning himself in.
Yes.
And the cops didn't want to hear about him because he wouldn't give up his other buddies.
That's right.
Well, if he's not going to give his other buddies, screw him. They got who they think is the main aggressor. That guy should, think twice before walking into a police station and confessing to a crime that he's about to confess to.
Right.
If there's other guys involved, dude, you better start talking names, because I know Canada, everyone thinks Canadian justice is a joke here, and sometimes it is. But if you don't start talking, then they're going to throw the book at whoever they got in there as the main aggressor.
So, in your sense, then, do you have sympathy for this kid who is in jail right now, charged with assault?
I wouldn't say I have sympathy, but I can see his point. Like, if he keeps saying that he didn't do it, and a girlfriend is saying that he didn't do it, and she's got information saying who did, then why isn't anyone asking his girlfriend, hey, come talk to the cops? This is properly investigate the crime here. I know who did it, blah blah blah. But she's not doing that. She's withholding information. Why is she scared? Like, if she's that scared, this is why we have police. Police are there for us to protect the public.
I tend to read.
If she's that scared, there's other ways that she can go through too. She could call Crime Stoppers and leave a tip out there. There's a dozen different ways, but she chose not to, which makes me think that she should be sitting in that cell next to her boyfriend.